For the Conics project, I had to develop an image using four of the conics we learned in class. So a circle, a parabola, an ellipse, and a hyperbola. The first conics that I used was a circle, and I changed the general formula of the circle from x squared plus y squared equals 1 to x squared plus y minus 1.1 squared equals 0.06. I changed it so that it could be the head of my butterfly, and I changed the center from 0, 0 to 0, 1.1, and that made the butterfly's head move up, and I also changed the radius from 1 to 0.06 so that the butterfly's head would be small enough for the rest of my general solutions. I also used several other circles in my equation, as you can see on the wings of my butterfly, and I did this and I made them into these places by changing the radius of the circle and the center of the circle. These circles are also reflected over to the other side from the second quadrant to the first quadrant, and I did that by changing the x center of the circle to from negative to positive. I also used an ellipse in my circle, several ellipses. This is the first one. It was the body of my butterfly, and I changed in the formula for it is 9x squared plus y plus 0.9 squared over 2.7 equals 1. And I had to manipulate it in a way to make it small enough to be the body of my butterfly, but so I did that by changing the center to negative 0.9, and I also made it narrow enough with the 9x squared that made the body narrow. I also used several other ellipses in my image, and you can see this with the wings of my butterfly. And I changed them. I had to tilt them, and to do that you did the general formula, but you added another coefficient plus xy, and you had to change the coefficient in a way to make it tilted that way. I also put constraints on my butterfly's ellipses so that it wouldn't ruin the design, and I did that with this one, and several other ones. I also used a parabola in my image, and you can see that with the antennae of my butterfly. And so I used the parabola to make the antennae, and I did that by changing the general formula of a parabola y equals x squared plus 1, and I changed it so that it would be y equals 16x squared plus 1.34, and that made the center of my parabola 0.1.34, and I also narrowed it. I also made the graph narrower by making the x squared multiplying it by 16 so that the a of the equation was larger. And I also put a constraint on this so that the butterfly's antennae wouldn't be too long, and I did that by putting it in brackets. I also used a hyperbola in my equation, or my image, and the hyperbola was 7x squared minus 1.8 y squared equals 1, and I also put several constraints on this to make it so that it would fit into my butterfly and not mar the image. I kept the center at 0, 0, but I changed the width and the height of it to make it the way I wanted it. So I did that by putting the 7 in front of the x and the 1.8 in front of the y. This was the only hyperbola that I used in my image, and it works quite well as it connects the the ellipses together. I also used several lines in my equation. I did that for making the lines on the body of the butterfly. I thought that would make it look better, and also I did several more lines in the bottom wings of my butterfly, again to make it look better. For the Conics project, I used four of these, and I intersected them, and I changed the conics in a way to make it look beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed it.